Hey everyone, it's your girl Miss Charlie, and you're here with Top of the Morning with Isaac. Say hey.
What's happening, people? Lockdown day number.
Who even knows? Who's keeping count this time round?
Don't
Not
even.
me.
I don't even know.
Anyway, so I wanted to talk about Octavian and
Peak.
hmm, and this alleged. Well, we say alleged. I saw the video, so you can let me know what you think in a second. But this alleged domestic violence.
And emotional abuse.
Yes. Well, domestic violence is not just, it's all
Okay.
types of abuse, isn't it? Really,
Okay.
domestic abuse, I should say. I guess. Yeah, you're right.
Mm.
So I saw the video, and
Yeah.
apparently his ex-girlfriend has actually been trying to call this out for a number of weeks or months,
Mm-hmm.
and it is sad that it's taken a video to come forward for us to actually listen. And
Mm-hmm.
I say us, but also mainly like authorities to really listen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and once again, that video was chilling, you know,
Mm.
to have to hear somebody's voice and like, no, you don't see faces, but you see movement, you see, you see
Mm.
enough. And I think you hear enough.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch it?
I didn't,
You didn't.
I've stayed away from watching it to, I think, have a very controversial response to the whole situation.
Right, okay. So
Um,
so
yeah.
apparently you were saying that Skepta's been called out as well.
Yeah, so Skepta's been called out. Because obviously now it's looking like it's well, shout out to Skepta anyway, but I think it's unfair, but I think it also begs the question that, I think his other friend, was it Solo, that's doing some time for rape. He seems to be around abusers. That's what it's looking like.
I wonder if he knew, because I don't want to say like, I don't want to blame him for anything because it's not like he did it.
Mm-hmm.
But what I don't like
Mm-hmm.
is I don't like when the friend is aware or conscious of what's going on, but yet still just decides to brush it under the carpet. I feel like as a community, we need to start checking our brethrens.
Mm-hmm.
When I say community, I don't necessarily just mean as a black community, as a white community, as a whatever.
Yeah.
I mean in general. We need to be checking our own brethrens, checking our friends, and if we see some dodgy behaviors, call them out on that, because that's not okay.
I don't know, like I can only speak from my perspective of being a man. A lot of men know that their friends are domestically abusing or emotionally. Actually, no, let me not go with the men thing. There's a lot of people, male and female, that know that there's some men that are in an abusive relationship and their women are causing the abuse, and then there's a lot of guys that know that a lot of guys know that their friends are abusing their partners, and everyone just stays quiet. And I always think to myself, like, now, for example, all these people in regards to Octavian, they knew he was doing this. So don't distance yourself from him now, because you knew. You knew. Did you get? Yeah. So, like, for example, I read that his management has dropped him. Now, I'll keep it very real. Yeah. If I'm someone managing an artist, right, you tend to be quite close with them, and you tend to have, if they've got a partner or a girlfriend, you're gonna meet them if you're managing them, right? And you're gonna see how man behaves around his woman. Do you know what I mean? Or the so-called quote unquote handle your woman kind of situation, right? And I just think that everybody knew, and I think that it shouldn't just be Octavia getting called out; it should be all of them. But at the same time, right? I'm not insensitive to women suffering from domestic abuse when I know it's not their fault. This is not what I'm talking about. And I'm not suggesting that this girl, Hannah, had anything to do with her. And yes, Octavian, you shouldn't hit a woman regardless anyway, but more so for women as well, you shouldn't hit men. We are not aware if she's ever abused him too. And we're not aware if he's ever going to come out and say she abused him too. Because you get some people in relationships that I've witnessed with my own two eyes, like, rah, the girl's beefing her man. And then you chat to the girl like, rah, you should leave my man. And she's like, nah. But then they're fighting at home like they're brother and sister. Like it's like some weird fighting thing. So as much as we're going to give Octavian, I think hitting women, first of all, is a no-no. And also I think women hitting men is a no-no. But we also have to understand that for 4 years, if she was going through that, is there a possibility that she was involved in the fighting? But obviously he's overpowering her and obviously he's abusing her. So that's wrong anyway. But is there more to the story than just she was a victim? But I'm not taking away the fact that she was a victim.
I think the issue is no, we don't know the full story and we probably won't know the full story. But I think the problem lies where if you are being abused, are you not allowed to hit back? Are you not allowed to fight back? Are you not allowed to try and defend yourself? Of course you are. So therefore, you know, they could, because I actually read something where like somebody was saying apparently they were fighting all the time. You can see it on their Instagram stories. They're always fighting. And it's like, okay, but were they actually fighting or was she trying to defend herself through fighting? Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, they were fighting. It's obvious now, but it doesn't have to be, I'm in the corner getting like kicked out and not hitting back to still be abused. Do you see what I'm saying? I can be hitting back and still be getting abused. Because who's to say that it's not, he's been hitting on me and eventually I've just gone, you know what, bun this, I'm going to try and fight my way out of the house today. Or I'm going to try and fight my way out of the usual beating today. And maybe that's what everyone's, so we don't know and we can't necessarily like paint that picture because we don't actually know. But statistics are 1 in 3 women have been or are being abused. So like if it's 1 in 3 women that are being abused, then where are these 1 in 3 men that are being the abuser? And do your friends not know? Does your family not know? You know, because at some point, like you've mentioned, you had to have known this was going on, or you had to have like seen something that you thought weren't right, or overheard a conversation on the phone that you thought, right, you really talking to her like that, or vice versa. They might be like, why is she talking to you like that? And then it could even lead to something like, oh, well, she's pissed at me because I dashed her bag out the window, or and do you know what I mean? And these little things, you have to question, like, why did you dash her bag out the window? What happened? Like, just completely hypothetical. I'm not accusing her of throwing her bag out the window, but these things lead up to the bigger story. And I think like we have to be more willing to call people out. You know what I mean?
I mean, as a guy, I'm not going to lie. If my friend, and not a friend like, for example, someone that I've met and I'm doing business with, I mean like a proper friend. If I saw him talking to his girl in a way, I'd be real. I don't know if I'll say anything because I'd be like, rah, that's my brethren and his girl. I can't hear you. Yeah, you're back. Hello?
Hey.
Yeah, you're back now. Them technical Zoom issues, but it's calm. We move. Yeah, I don't know if I would say anything because I don't know if it's my place. Is this normal? Like,
what? So are you saying if this was a good friend of yours, you don't know if you'd say?
Yeah. So let's say Octavian was my friend, yeah, and I've gone to his house, right? His partner's there. Maybe we're having dinner or something, but he talks to her in a way that I think is wild, yeah. I would be like in my head, yeah, that's a bit wild the way you've spoken to her. Yeah, and I might dash a 2-joke like, lower man, stop being so whatever. But because it's not my business like that, I don't know if I would step in, because like, for example, in the past, I've seen a situation like that and I've stepped in and it's totally backfired on me. Get out of my relationship, you know, this is between me and my girl, you know, and it's one of those things.
Yeah, I hate you. I just think like,
so I don't know how can, for example, people from the outside, if they see something wild, step in when like raw, the girl might turn around and be like, well, maybe she's silent because she's afraid and she doesn't want to speak out. But how do I see my brethren maybe talk to his girl wildly? I would never stand there and watch any of my friends hit their partner. But if they're talking to them in a way that's intimidating, yeah, I don't know if I would step in at that point, because is that my business? Is that how they speak to each other?
I think you'd be right to say something. I think, because even if it is the way that they speak to each other, that's not okay. Like, whether that's like, you know, okay, I've been in this relationship for 10 years and he always talks to me like that. And it's like, okay, but are you happy with that? Is that flourishing your relationship? Is that something that strengthens your relationship for him to talk to you like that? If it's unnecessary, address it, because it's an issue. And I think also because it could be an onion, it could be so many layers under there that you're not seeing, that don't quite meet the eye. And we know of well too many scenarios, and it's like a big thing that women are abused in homes more than anywhere else.
But man, them are too. Man, them are abused heavily at home. May not be physically, but emotionally and psychologically. There's a lot of man them suffering, yeah, that are suffering in silence.
But the thing is, it's not about whether they're male or female. These things shouldn't be going on. And whether we see it, whether it's a woman talking to a man like clap or a man talking to a woman down, it does, either way, it needs to be confronted. And I think we can't address the issue by saying, well, it happens to men too, because actually it shouldn't be happening. Yes, it's happening. So therefore we need to do something about it. So if I see a woman, you know, talking to a man like shit, and she's my brethren, I'm gonna say to her, why did you talk to him like that? That's a bit out of order. Do you know what I mean? Especially if that's my friend and I want her relationship to flourish, or therefore I want to help her in her relationship, I'm gonna say something like, that's not cool. If these things are only gonna cause bigger issues, you can't talk to a man like rubbish and expect him to not feel some type of way or even act out on it. Whether it means he's going to talk rubbish back, or later on you're not going to be walking around the house and it's all cold and no one wants to talk to each other, and whatever it is. Like, I don't want my friend in a relationship like that, whether it's mental, physical, or abuse, or, you know, psychological, whatever it is, like verbally, whatever. I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's healthy for you to be in. I don't think it's healthy for you to normalize and to go from one relationship like that into another relationship like that, because you've normalized that behavior. Or furthermore, even worse, if you have kids in the house, that you're now normalizing that behavior for your children. You shouldn't be putting yourself under that amount of stress anyway, to be out here causing that pain or that inflict, like whatever it is you're doing to this other person, let alone to yourself. So I think as friends, as family members, as a community, we should check people. And yes, we may be wrong, and that's okay, but don't be too frightened to say something just in case I'm wrong. You know, if it's your good friend, then maybe you could say, do you always talk to her like that? So what happens after you talk to her like that? Does she just ignore it? Is it not a problem anymore? Do you know, how do you know, question these things? Because we don't know what's going on underneath. Most of the time, we will never know unless we pry. And yes, you can be told, mind your business, it's my relationship. Yeah, he hits me, that's okay. Or yeah, she does that, but that's fine, whatever. And it's like, okay, cool. But if that's your real brethren as well, then actually you have more of a foot in the door to be like, do you know what, G, I don't actually think that that's okay. Like, fair enough, you lot might think that's okay. Maybe you lot been doing that for years, but that's actually not okay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, also I read he's See, that's the thing. And this is where, for me, blinds get lured. So there's not an accusation, but she's saying that, you know, he consumes Class A drugs, right? Now, I can't condone him hitting her, period. And that's not what I'm talking about. But for example, if he's high of Class A drugs, he's not himself.
I don't agree.
But he's not. But it's like when someone's drinking.
He's intoxicated, but he is himself.
You think so?
He is himself.
All right.
He's an intoxicated version of himself. There's no way you can take away the liability just because he's intoxicated. But he's intoxicated, but he's still Octavian.
But are they intoxicating together and talking a madness?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. To me, I don't think it matters.
Okay.
Like, yes, you could both be intoxicated.
Mm-hmm.
But you can, like, for example, there's different types of, you know, we know people who may drink vodka and get mad Larry. You know, people who may, you know, do whatever they're doing and all of a sudden they're sweet, they're kind, they're different, they seem different, but it's the same person. It's the same person. I don't care. Like, if you know that is what you're doing when you're intoxicated, when you are not intoxicated, why do you go and do that again then? Why do you put this stuff into your body again if you know that that's the way you're going to behave, unless you don't think there's a problem with it? Do you see what I'm saying?
I mean, there's a lot. Yeah, fair enough. I'm glad you.
And this goes for women and men, because, like, as well as, like, I will stand out here and be like, no man should put his hand on a woman. I don't think a woman should put her hand on a man, because one, more than likely you're not the same size, and he can he can manhandle you. If he can't, either way, still don't do it. Two, you're going to lose all types of respect for your relationship if all of a sudden you're putting hands on each other. Three, if I dare to try and even think of a third, I just feel like it's just not it's not a positive, flourishing place to be in. If you know that is how you are when you drink, and you know that you get leery, and you know that you get mouthy, tone it down. Watch how much you're drinking. Make sure that you're not going to go drink with the girls and come home and start talking smack to your man. Or furthermore, put your hand on him. Or furthermore, vice versa. You know? We have to be held accountable. It doesn't matter whether we're intoxicated or not. We have to be held accountable, because nobody made him do that. Nobody made him take the drugs. If he knows that that's how things get when he's intoxicated, that's your business. You shouldn't be doing that. It's because it's more than likely, not that I'm trying to find an excuse for him, because I think he's scum, but at the end of the day, more than likely that behavior has been normalized in him some way or another. He thinks that that's okay.
Well, he came out and said that he was abused as a child, and went through a lot of domestic violence. And then she quickly came out and instantly said, "Nah, man, you didn't have no domestic abuse childhood, no domestic violent childhood." So it's.
At the same time, do you think that could even be an excuse, though?
I don't believe that because I don't believe that because you've seen domestic violence that then you should go and do domestic violence. No, I don't believe that that's the case. I don't think it's an excuse if you're over the age of 18. I think under the age of 18, you know, like what you see is what you do. So if you grow up seeing your mum and your dad punch each other up, then, you know, you may go to school and think it's okay to punch a girl, but then you will be domesticated or educated in school. I think once you're like past 18, you kind of have a clear understanding of what's right and what's wrong, just down to television, music, and social media, and people telling you that this is wrong anyway. Do you know what I mean? So I think for you to, but at the same time, trauma is trauma. And a lot of people don't know how to deal with their trauma, because with the instance with like Chris Brown, you know, I kind of let it go because there was more to the story, but I didn't agree with him beating up Rihanna. I mean, I didn't agree with it, but, you know, he grew up in a home where full of domestic violence, and he snapped and he reverted back to what he knows or what he knew, because he hasn't dealt with that trauma. And apparently she was punching him up too anyway. So I don't know if it's true. Just what I'm saying, And why I wanted to talk about this topic in particular is that the male counterpart, and I'm not saying Octavian is innocent any shape or form, and I'm not saying that this girl is wrong for speaking up. More power to her for speaking up, even though it took her a couple of years to speak up. More power to her to speak up. It's just that we never really know the full story. So if you say that a man's hit you, right, it's not right that he's hit you. But I'm the type of person that always just wants to understand the context to why that has happened.
I understand that.
Not sorry to cut you.
Understand it, but I just think at the same time, it doesn't necessarily have to end in violence. If somebody's provoking you, you can always turn around and walk away.
But you know what? You can, but maybe some people can't. Or maybe the situation is...
Some people are too weak to be able to walk away, because I think it takes strength to be able to walk away and not smack somebody in the face when you really, really want to, or when they've done it to you, or when they're provoking you and pushing your buttons. We're all human. It takes strength to walk away from even to know I could squish you if I could. I could, you're like an ant to me. I could actually just swipe you to the left. But the thing is, it takes strength to not do that, even when you know you can. I think it's even harder. But either way, you are a weak-minded, sleazebag individual if you do give in to that. It doesn't, like, for me, I don't care. I don't care what you say to me. Like, I'm not gonna turn around and hit you.
Yeah, you shouldn't. Yeah, no, yeah, there's no. I agree. Yeah, I agree. But I always want to know the context. Just because, for example, you know, there's some people out there who, male and female, for example, let me use a female narrative. Yeah, it's like a woman will go down for murder, for killing her husband. Yeah, and we'll go on television or we'll go on Twitter or Instagram and we'll ridicule this woman. Yeah, she killed her husband. But what they're not telling us, the narrative is either my man was punching her up, or my man was, I don't know, cheating on her, whatever, or making her feel small and she had nothing, she cracked. And then we just vindicate this person without understanding the context. I'm not suggesting that I just don't know hers. I would like to hear his side of the story, not to empower him or empower men who feel like punching up women is cool, just to understand the context. Because it's really easy to just put on social media, yeah, boom, boom, I got beat up by a man. It's an easy story to sell. It's just an easy story to sell. I just would like to understand the context.
People to speak out, though.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I rate her for speaking up. But I'm talking about headline everybody else cancelling him. Like his management team have cancelled him. But I believe his management team knew.
Yeah, I believe... to be honest, I don't know if they knew or not. But I just think, like...
I believe.
You're around somebody to the point where you're hearing phone calls between them and their missus. More time you're hearing about their relationship issues. Like, if you're a friend to somebody, I feel like there could be some signs, and whether you've let them go over your head or not, maybe we should have been investigating. Maybe you should have been asking questions. Maybe you should have been raising concerns from before if you were seeing these signs, Because
he's been dropped, and this is just like cancelled culture. So this is like even including like the whole Wiley thing being cancelled, and Katie Hopkins is still doing her thing. I think as well, just so that the people understand, I'm not condoning the behavior at all. Yeah, if he needs to go to jail, let him go to jail and do his time and get the help that he needs to understand that hating women are not cool. I'm just more interested in, the reason why I'm bringing this all up is almost as if just to touch on this cancelled culture. You make a mistake. In his case, he's done it more than once, so it can't be a mistake. But you make a decision, and then it's like, okay, cool, everyone steps away from you. But a lot of people knew you was doing this, that step away. I think they should all go into jail with you, like, or bear the shame. All right, not jail, but bear the shame with you. Because everyone's running away now. Yeah. But I believe that he has hotted up that lady over the phone in front of his management team. Do you know what I mean? And you're condoning that behavior. I know, because it's impossible. I don't manage artists, but I'm around people. I've had a 9 to 5, and you hear how when you're talking with your friends if you're around anybody where you're making money with them, you're with them for a considerable amount of time. And in that time, you get to know a little bit about them. And I just think they're new. If you're making money with someone, you know, your management is making money with you, so you're in the studio.
You're right in that sense. So in that sense, what do you think about Skepta?
I think I don't think. Do you know what? If I'm to be actually just be a man about the situation, yeah, I think I find it very interesting that two people that you may consider friends are in this kind of situation, and it's a shame that your name is being dragged into this, because it's almost now like, and this is with me believing that Skepta has got nothing to do with this, but maybe he knew. Yeah, you need to step away, not now. Don't step away now, you know, because potentially you knew too, but you know, step away. Once you see these signs, call them out. It's a bit of a mad one because I'm a Skepta fan, so it's a bit long.
Do you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I was an Octavian fan until this morning.
Right.
I really liked the feel of his music. I liked the kind of 80s vibe he was bringing back. I really liked that. Not going to lie to you. Now, not about it. I'm not about it. I understand.
So you should be, you know, and so you should be.
Character is obviously so different to their craft and their art sometimes. And like sometimes they say, like, don't ever meet your, you know, your idol, because you could
Yeah.
They are, and actually, like, this is that, I think, in so many ways, but obviously so much worse. It's like, this dirty scumbag. The words I want to use, I can't say. You know?
I mean, you know what? The best way to answer that question to Skepta is birds of a feather flock together.
That's a big. I hear you.
I think that's the best way. I think that's the most mature way I can answer that question. Birds of a feather flock together. Show me your friends, and I'll show you who you are.
Well, Skepta, I want to know what you have to say. I don't know if you're going to see this video, but I really want to know if he's going to put out a statement, if he's going to have anything to say on this, because.
But I mean, is Octavian his brethren? Are they codees? The people, because making music. That's what I'm saying. So the only thing is, I don't know if Skepta has to make a comment. I don't know if he has to. He's being pressured to. If he has to.
Is he?
Yeah, on Twitter. On Twitter, he's being pressured. But I don't feel like he has to or need to, because he didn't commit these crimes. But my thing is that distancing yourself once light is set on something isn't a good look, in my opinion.
Because you were just there chilling with it in the dark.
Yeah, when it was in the dark, you was there, calm.
The thing is, like, I can give some kind of like understanding to the fact that he may not have known. And okay, cool. I can give you that gratitude. You may not have known, fair enough. And I don't blame you. But if you did, I don't know how close they are, like you said, but if he did know, then it's like, okay, cool. You were saying earlier, that's not the first person that's been somehow in some way connected to Skepta that's been having these questionable, you know, behaviors.
But he hasn't done nothing. That's the thing, though. He actually hasn't done anything. His name's being dragged for the fact of association. So it's one of those ones.
But it's like what you said earlier. If you're around somebody that much, especially if you're a manager to somebody, then you pick up these things. at some point you question what was that?
Yeah,
Why?
but some people don't care anyway. So you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. People, it would just be impossible for me to be around a friend of mine who was doing domestic abuse and I wouldn't have picked up on something. Would I say, like I said, in that instance, like I said before, I don't know if I would say because would I feel like it's my place? If I saw my friend hit his or her partner, yes, I'd have something to say and then I'd be on it to squash it. But like verbal abuse between two partners, I can't say I'd get involved. And maybe that's a sign. And maybe I'm also part of the problem. Do you get it? Because I can't sit here and say that, yeah, if I see my friend talking wicked to his woman, I'm gonna get involved. No, it's not my woman. It's not my business. I'm not in their house. I don't sleep on their pillow. I've seen instances growing up as a young man and a man now, chatting to girls, college times and whatnot. You know, you get involved, but she goes back to the guy. So I'm not about to sit here and start vindicating my friend and his partner for talking to each other in a way. I'm not. So I'm probably one of those people.
I am. I'm not gonna lie. I will be that ex-up friend to be like, babe, why did you talk to him like that? That's not okay. So what are you gonna do when he turns around and cusses you out for doing that? Is that not just gonna make the situation worse? I'm sorry, but that's me as a friend. That's me. Likewise, I will be there if you call me in tears saying, you know, he's done this or he's done that to me. I will be there. But at the end of the day, I will also check you to tell you that why are you in this relationship if it's so toxic? It doesn't make sense. And we need to hold people accountable for these things because I would never want to say that anything is the victim's fault. But then how could I be a friend and sit down and see you aggravate somebody and continually aggravate somebody and not call it out, and then one day he snaps and he smacks you and it's like, okay, I'm not going to tell you it's your fault that he smacks you because he's weak ass for doing that. But actually be accountable for your behavior, you know? And I think it's also hard to say, like, why didn't you just walk away? Because sometimes you can't walk away.
Yeah, I've
heard of cases, and I have friends or family members who have been in situations where they've been threatened. So they fear walking away. They fear being harmed or being hurt further, or their family being hurt or being harmed, because as consequence of them walking away from a situation. So it gets much deeper, and that's why I think it's so, we should as friends be calling these things out.
Guys, let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Like, comment, share, and subscribe.
It's a heavy one, isn't it? It's heavy. It's not nice to wake up in the morning and see these things, but guys, it's happening. And if it's not happening in the media, it's happening behind closed doors. So we need to talk about these things.
If you are going through any domestic abuse, you know what? Let me be proactive. Is there a telephone number you can ring? Look at the channel.
Definitely should be. Maybe we should put one on the end of our video.
I'll do that, yeah. Make sure you contact those people. If you're going through any kind of abuse as well, speak up. If you want to speak to us, holler at Miss Charlie in her DMs on Instagram. Top of the Morning Show Instagram is there as well. UK ISN. If you want to share any of your stories with us, feel free, holler at us. We'll be more than happy to share or spread some light on your story. I wish the lady, I think her name is Hannah, I wish you all the best. And obviously look after yourself, go through the kind of self-healing you need to. We don't condone all that kind of violence anyway. Do you know what though? I would like to get Octavian on the show just so that we can ask him some questions. I'd like to ask him some real questions.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't actually want to hear what he has to say.
It'll be interesting to see what he has to say. I think it'll be interesting.
I don't want to hear it.
I hear that. Well, it looks like then he's not gonna come.
I don't want to hear it. Like, as far I've said enough. I've said enough.
I'm intrigued. I'm always intrigued. It's like, you know, like for example, when people like, I had this conversation with my friend about racist people, which we'll talk about on another day. You know, I prefer to know that the person is racist than the person to hide. So if this guy's an abuser, I actually want to understand his mind. Like, why are you like this? Why is it okay for you to think it's okay to hit women? Why does your rage get to that point that you want, like, I want to know, because that's an illness in itself and you need help. Do you know what I mean? And I think you as a woman putting the pressure on him and asking him them questions there, hot fire, will be good. Because sometimes man them need that. But if you don't want him on the show, I hear
that. I just don't feel the need to promote him.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I don't feel the need to. Yeah.
Ice and hats are out, guys. So.
I'm not a psychologist and I can't actually help him. All I can do is sit down and grill him from my perspective, but does it matter?
Yeah, but maybe he needs that. Well, maybe people like that need that. Let's not even put that.
More than that. Maybe he needs a lot more than a grilling from a woman for a screen. Maybe he needs to be locked up.
Well, that's a start.
You know what? Unless some crazy story comes out with video footage to prove that this woman is lying.
No, it's not about her lying.
I'm not trying. I don't want to hear anything he has to say as an abuser.
Fair enough. Cool. I hear that. No, should have known better.
Right, guys. It's lovely, and it's been a difficult subject, but yeah, let us know what you think in the comments, and like, subscribe, share, all of that good stuff. Follow us at Miss Charlie Instagram, ISN Network, and Top of the Morning Radio. Not even radio anymore, we're podcast now.
And that's it. Peace.